trying to say is if they give you a question like c minus 4 in bracket squared, this part you have understood, so you put c minus 4 and then c minus 4. Okay, that's the first part. Now what I was saying is this: you see this first letter c, you bring it here. Okay, you bring c here. So when you bring your first letter c, and then this whole thing here, everything in this here, c minus 4, you bring it here. You bring open bracket c minus 4 closed. Okay, that's what you do. You take the first letter, which is c, this one, you bring it in front here, and then what is in the bracket here, everything there, you bring it in front here. Have you understood? So you bring c, and then c minus 4 comes, and then this one, negative 4, this one comes here, negative 4. Whatever letter is there, whether it's a number or a letter, comes there. Again, this same c minus 4, this one again, comes here again, c minus 4. You bring it twice. It comes here, and it comes there. That's what I was saying. And then c times c, c squared, minus c times 4, 4c, minus 4 times c, 4c, negative c. This negative times this negative, it will give me positive here. 4, this is where I'm making mistakes. You see, this 4 times this 4, bracket means times, so I'm multiplying 4 times c, 4c. 4 here times 4, it is 16. You see, there's a negative times this negative, it forms positive. And then 4 times 4 forms 16. So it will be 2 squared minus negative 4c, negative 4c to give me negative 8c plus 16. That's how you do it. That's the answer. So it doesn't matter, even if they give you c minus 5, for example, squared. So, or b minus 5 squared, you can use another letter, you can put b there. So it will be b minus 5, open closed, b minus 5. Okay, b minus 5, closed. Then you pick the first letter. What is my first letter here? B. So I take b, I put it here. Then this, I bring it in front. So b minus 5, closed. And then here is negative what? Negative 5. That negative 5, I bring it here. Negative 5. Again, whatever is in the brackets here, again, I bring it here again. I bring it twice. Okay? B times b, b squared, minus b times 5, 5b. 5 times this b, 5 times b, because bracket means times. So 5 times b, negative 5b. Negative 5 times negative 5. You see, you are not multiplying this 5 multiplies with that 5. There's a negative here, and then this negative, they will form a positive. 5 times this 5, it will be 25. You see? You are not multiplying these numbers. And then it will be b squared minus negative 5, and negative 5 will give me negative 10 plus 25. Okay? So that's how you do it. It keeps on going. They can give you c minus d, open closed, okay, open bracket, d minus f, okay, d minus f, d minus what? D minus f. So even here, this is another question. So again, what do you do here? This is question 3. So again, you bring your c, you bring it here. Again, this again comes here, d minus f. You multiply it with everything in the brackets. What comes here? The next letter that comes here is what? Negative d. This one, you bring it here, negative d. Okay. If there's positive 4 there, you bring positive 4. If there's negative c, you bring negative c. But here is negative d, so you bring negative d. Again, this same one here, again, you bring it even here, d minus f. I'll rub it again. I repeat the question again to make you understand. So what am I saying? What am I saying? I said, if the question comes like this, the first letter here, we pick it. What is my first letter? C. I bring C here. Then this part comes in front of C. It is D minus F. Then I close. Okay? The next thing I look at is what? The next thing that I look at is what? The next thing that I look at is D. So this part again, I take it, this one. Okay? D minus D, I bring it here, minus D. With the sign negative D, you bring it. If it's positive D, you bring positive D. Again, the same D minus F comes this side, D minus F. And then you multiply C times D, CD, CF, negative D. There's D here and there's another D there. DD, capital D. This negative times this negative will make a positive. D times F, it is DF. So this same thing applies to all questions. All questions, G minus T, okay, B minus F. You see, the same thing. You bring your G here, this is question 4. You bring your G there, you multiply it with what? B minus F. You see, you bring this letter G, you multiply it with everything here. Again, what comes here is minus T. So you bring this side minus T. Again, you multiply it with B minus F. You see, this B minus F, it's also coming the same side, this side. This one is always repeated twice. This part is repeated twice. It comes here and it comes there. So GB minus FG minus TB minus TF. Okay, I hope you have understood. I'll also leave an exercise for you this side to see whether you have understood. Question 1. C minus 1. C minus 6 squared. Question 2. C minus 7 squared. Question 3. C minus D, open closed, open bracket, D minus F, closed. Question 4. T minus C, open closed, F minus G, closed. Question 5. T minus F, closed, B plus 5. Okay, try these together with those ones again I gave you. First, before you write this exercise, write the other exercise I gave you and then post. When you post, when I mark that exercise, then you can come back and write this one also.